Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
One small feature you need to implement today, that is, you are creating some accounts in the Salesforce, right? Using this post flow, creating some accounts. What's the requirement is if I try to create the duplicate account, right? Try to create the account with the same name or same duplicate information. We should not post that request to the Salesforce. Instead, we need to do response back to users saying that this account already exists in the Salesforce. That's right. Whenever you need to, always you need to post that information to the Salesforce to create an account. How do we implement that feature? Tomorrow the same kind of requirement comes. Just brainstorm how we can implement that kind of thing. I think I don't know, in my normal way, is that at first I check if that account exists. And if it doesn't exist, then I want to insert. And the other way around is that, if you go out and just want to add an account that already exists, maybe you get the result back like the error message saying that account already exists, right? The database won't allow you to do it. Either you get the error message from the SQL saying that it cannot add or it can already exist, or you check before you insert. That's how I am thinking. That is good. Check before you insert is good. Because if you are doing a call to the Salesforce, right, that is network call, that is an expensive call. First you go to Salesforce and see whether a record exists or not, then coming back and it exists. We should avoid that call. For that, what we can do is see I can implement that feature and just follow that one. Try to understand that one. What I'm doing over here is I'm just creating one. I can request my control. As part of our basics, we covered the target variable, right? When you talk about the target variable like a way to store the results back, right? What I can do is I'm creating one transform. What information you're posting actually to create an account? Can you show me the post? Post payload. Post right. Of course. Payload. Post payload is the postman. Oh, payload. Mark payload we are posting. I'll show you once I can. Let's go back here. On the post we are. We're doing consult this. I think all we're doing is the army. This is the post. This is the account number. This is get type. This is get. Let me see the body. Body here you can see. We are sending name, ID name, account type and account number. What my requirement is, if I submit the same request with the same account number, we should get response like already that account exists in the Salesforce. We should not, do the insert query on the Salesforce, right? That's the requirement. I'm taking this as a primary key in my payload. What I'm doing is for that, I'm getting one transform message here. I'm storing that variable. The variable number is account number. See, the variable is account number. I don't want the payload. See this transform message. Only have you know it will do. Say Jason. What I'm doing is, account number. Just, I'm storing that account number in the variable. Next part I'm doing is, I'm creating one variable, one more variable. Let me create some code. Object store is very important concept as we got, chance to discuss that one. In the object store there is I will tell you the logic once I build complete Atom. Try to watch now. Sounds good. After building that logic, I will walk through that logic and discuss the pathway part. Now for the logic is, let me run this one and I can show you. On running. This is already running. This is started. I'm going to Postman. I'm creating in 4.6. This should be unique, right? First, what I'm doing is now, I started creating accounts. This is the first account I'm going to create now. I'm creating some success to the account got created and success to indicate that the account successfully created. This is the message we need to see when the account got created. I have to create the same account again. I got message. If the account exists with a phone number, please provide a unique account number. What happens is, even the call did not go to Salesforce. See in this choice order, right? Account exists. Sorry if account not exists, see the expression. This is the not. Some explanation. Marker is not. If account not exists means unique account. That will only go to the Salesforce. If it doesn't exist, if it does not exist. If account exists, then it comes to the second route, this route. The second path. Now how we are achieving? That means when we are, unique account, unique number. Right. I'm storing that number in a temporary place called object store. In object store, I'm storing that account, whatever account I send to Salesforce. Right? For example, second time also, you trigger the same record. Second time we check the same record and what happens is this contains, we check that record already exists in the object store or not. We store that entry in this point and second, we got that request. It checks the object store, that entry is already object store or not. It is an object store. Then what happens? It will send it to second path. This is default path. If you got unique, this becomes false, that it goes to the upper path. This path. I think I really don't understand, but I just want to also make sure I understand well. First time everyone is. And it knows what contains in that record, right? In that table. First time. First time we got the request right. Object store is empty. Object store is, nothing is in object store for first request. But object store is way back here. But how do you make sure that this has the information that is in the store? That's the part I don't understand. Here contains. And contains we say in what we say in here. Let me explain this way. Let me open one more path. This is only contains that I don't understand. One more. Let me open the report path, please. Note Paint or not bad? You want not bad. I got it. What is object stored? What is object stored? What happened? What is object store? Object store is a temporary storage area. It means store key value phase. Key value phase. When first time now I define my application, I'm sending the very first request. At that moment my object store is empty. No information in object store, right? Very first request. Alright, but where is the object store in our flow? Is it the one called store? Yes, there is object store. Alright. When the first request comes, my object store it's empty. Nothing is no entry there in my object store. First question. What I do? I send to Salesforce. Send request to Salesforce. And after sending the request to Salesforce, I store that key. I store that key. What key? The account number. In our case, account number. I store the account number in object store. Right. An object store is still a store object there. No, after sending the first request, I have some entry in object store, right? And with my account number, I have my account payload. With this account number, one entry is there. Now what happens if I get the same request again? Second request. Sorry, second. Same request. It checks the object store first. If any object is there in object store, that is doing contains. Contains is a component. Are you saying then second time? Alright. This is the only area that I wasn't getting. And second time. Alright. First time also. I know it was empty. Go ahead. Could you explain? Second time. I just want to understand the flow the second time. How does it? Second time it checks this account number. Second time, whatever account number we send. Account number. That account number, it just in object store or not? Object store. I'm sending OS just to know or shorter or not. What happens? It is just because in the first store, account number in object store, right? Right here, right there, second time when you check in this stuff. When you check in if the number exists. How the flow checks what's in here? While we're here you can see the contents. What is object store name? Account number object store. Here also sees the store. What is the object store? Account number. Object store means these two components are doing same object store. This guy is this one has a, I don't know. Is this the one that checks if the account exists in the store, or this one has whatever the store information has? If you see the component name right, storer, it is storing the new account information. The record. The record. It's for the new one. Contains means, is that account number already exists in that object store area or not? But does it? Does it ask if this guy has the number or he has a copy of whatever that store is here? That's the part that I'm not getting. See what object store is the key value case, right? That keeps the information, stores the information. What is the key over here? Account number is the key. Account number. Whatever account number we are sending from our payload. I'm reading this one as a key. This one should be unique all the time. That's right. This is a key. In the object store, I'm storing that as a key and value as the payload I sent, and that one as a value. I send to the Salesforce and I store that information. That's right. First type. When the if I flow, if the application the same request again second time or the same, then what happens? It comes over here and in the contents we check. With that, enter the same account number in this object store exists or not. And this means this is the part I want to understand. Does he ask if the store has the information? Or he has a copy, whatever was stored here, he has a copy of it and he knows and all the account numbers that's in the store. Does he ask and check it? Or does he have the copy of whatever the store is? Let me open. Are you following my question? 1. Can you open it, please? 1 sec. No problem. Take a moment. I can explain the key. If he already has the information, because he asks the store, wait, do I have this account number? And if that's the case, then it makes sense. But somehow, if he has a copy of whatever the storekeepers is, no, it won't have a copy. This is object store. Here I store the key value. Kiva. Not writing. Here I store account number as a key. Account number. On top, this is a place in your JVM. In your Mule runtime, it's a place. There are a few components that will talk to this place. One is store component. Store contains component. storer, a new entry to this object store. Whenever I'm sending a new record, unique record, I store into object store component. Using content component, I check is that key already exists or not. I send a key and that key already there in object store or not. If already there, it will be true. Not there, it will be false. Nothing is stored in this component or in this component. There are only tools that use object store. Talk to object store. Verify object store. This is the one to store. A new entry to object store. This component to verify already the entry exists or not. In our flow, what is the object store? Let's see. In our flow, I'm scrolling here right. This is my object store. Object store. Name is the code number object store. Alright. Then what that means? Then based on your explanation, 1 second time we got a number of requests. The containers object checks an object store if it has the account number. And if it does, then it's not going to send to it does. If account number already exists, right? What will it do? It will create a variable. It will create an easy account like this variable, and the same is true in this variable. Easy account like this becomes true. If your account number is false, this becomes false. Here I'm checking. Here I'm checking. Is not true means false. If already exists, what happens? It falls, right? If already exists, it is true. If it will not exist. It falls off. Negation true. If it does not exist, then it goes the transform message and then creates. And the other option if not. If exists is the other choice. And we saying here in the log, different ones. This one got success, right? If I send the same name again, it will not fail, right? I want to see how you grind the error message and the thing. If it exists, you say just message saying it cannot exist. That's a log. And here you say, you get this account number from here. From variables. I'm showing that initially variable, right? Instead of creating a variable, what is that variable is? Here we open this transform message. This is the output. Account number variable. In this variable, I'm storing this account number. Payload account number. Payload account number. The one you are sending, right? All that payload, you're just grabbing the account number. And then you say that, talk to me, help me understand. What is the thing I saw earlier? This is a little bit if you render. Payload account number, you don't want. don't want to confuse that with what you can use. You can simply. This is also fine. You can store like this. Payload account number. Variable account number is equal to payload account number. If I do that here also, you have to change. This is not required. Just the account number. Here's. But very first step, what we're doing, Adam, is we are creating a variable. We can create a variable using transformation also. There are two ways to create a variable. One is we can create a variable using variable account, variable objects, set variable component, set variable component to create a variable. But what is a drawback from using set variable component is, if you want to create 10 variables, what would you do? You need to drag 10 set variable components. Your flow becomes only lengthy and complicated. If such requirement is there, what we can do is using one transformation component, you can create number of variables. I like that. One variable I created here. What is my variable name is a POMA, and what I'm storing inside this variable, payload account number. Right. In the payload, you're sending account number, right? This thing I'm storing inside that variable. What variable? Account number variable. You want one more variable. What we can do, you can just click on the place sign over here. And suppose you want the account name variable. Assume it. Give the variable name. Account name. You have account name variable also. What do you want to store in account name? I want to store this name. And then I go here. Make it to JSON first. Payload domain. Check it. Put it as it. Then what I'm doing is in one transformation component. This one, you want to change it from Java to JSON. It's not required always. You check what happens. You put JSON, what happens to Java? Check it out. Just try it. Right. Using one transformation component, here I'm creating two variables. Account number variable, I'm storing account number. Account name variable, I'm storing account name. But I won't demonstrate. Like one transform variable, we can create multiple. One transform variable. Multiple variables. Second component, what we are doing is, here we are. There is some object store called check in from object store. If the account number exists, first time what happens? This is empty. It's no. There is no account. It is false, right? Then it will go this path. Top. And we will send to Salesforce and we store that account number to this object store. And second time, if we send the same account number here, it is true. Because it's already true, right? Then it will go to default path. It won't go top path. That's the logic. Alright. Like that. It's very good. Now, one important feature in the projects, in the real-time projects, is you want to secure your application. Here, if you're accessing, we are not. You know we are not sending any username password. You open the way you are able to access, right? This is not a good practice. To view a basic security, there are some security standards out there. Let's see. Today we apply some basic security. Let me go there. Any where actually we should view name as the account API. First we need to view the employee because it doesn't matter. And publish to Exchange. Your version 1.2. Proceed public exchange. Then let me go to the manager. Right now I don't require the fixed key. Add new API. I want to use the Mune gateway. Or deploy existing application basic endpoint MuleSoft. I was telling you this one. Let us consider MuleSoft. And we are not deploying any proxy application. I'll tell you what is proxy, how to create a proxy. Directly, you are connecting to basic endpoint. Now go to next and select the API from Exchange. We already published to Exchange, right? Select for employee over here. Employee Exchange. This is printed and published to employee, this one. And this is the version API, version 2. NASA flow. I don't have implementation all the stuff. I will provide this one a little later. Go to next. Save. Here it provides something called auto discovery ID. API auto discovery ID. What API auto discovery ID is? It acts as a bridge between your API and your API implementation. Say that one more time. Auto discovery. Auto discovery ID. You see auto discovery ID, right? We will deploy multiple applications in our Mune service. It acts as a bridge, as a kind of what you say. It's kind of a path between your API and your implementation. What we do is, I'm just passing this auto discovery ID and going back to my Mune application, global elements. Oh, that employee API is the project we're using. Alright. The flow name. You need to be the flow name. Employee API main, the main flow. What is the main flow? This is the main flow. Employee, the routes that lands over here. From here it routes to different getter poster. We need to do this one. Next, what I'm doing is, I want to deploy this to cloud. Where is my project? This. Platform. The employee. On the left is a project name. And the main name is, that is the full name. This is a full name. Can you repeat this? I want to understand the difference between this and that. This is the project name, right? And this is the flow name. This project contains multiple flow names. This is the main flow. Some subflows also. When it's not involved, let me publish to the title. Oh, I think it's still here. It moved to another screen. I'm going to move it here. Alright. I have the application. Meanwhile, let me go to that. Any point that from. It's alright. It's one of the policies that were here. And the policy. Now there are a number of policies available. The policies. The security policies are like basic authentication policies, a policy that gives some authentication that you need to use your API with username and password. Block listing policy means I want to block some IPs. I don't want to, serve those IPs. I think IPs are harmful. I want to block those IPs using block. IP error means I want to allow only some set of IPs only. I don't want to allow any public IPs that I can use. IP policy. There are different kinds of security policies. The security catching spy control rate limiting. These are different security and quality of service policies. We will discuss simple and basic authentication policy. And you will use the username and password. You can use some username and password that we want to protect your API. This policy is successful. As of now, for this employee, we have this basic authentication policy. The administration. This is the one that we check. The manager. Just wait for a moment and we'll check. Not starting with the application. Load. Load. Still doing it. Phoning. Oh, I broke that. This will be an update. The product takes some time because the cloud gets the worker on those things. It's something. Thank you. All we do right now is that we have a flow that there is a database and check to see if the account exists or not. You know all the projects. The whole where we are building right now on the cloud. Right. Anyway, Salesforce also on the cloud. We don't get issues in the project. But if you have database component, we can't publish it in Salesforce Cloud because database is running on. And if you deploy, you won't get it right. That is, you need to configure the database that is running on the cloud. That's really different. Say that this is successful and what do you call it? What is this called? And what is that was a cloud name? Let me stop these things. You're not stopping. You can start because you have multiple. That makes it successful. If the things are running in the CloudHub, right? That means you can access it in anywhere. And it will be running right all the time. Yes, it will be running all the time. Anytime you can access. Even I can able to access these applications. The policy or the can be created. This is that people will see it or want access to the cloud and on the CloudHub. Cloud. What you're asking is, you get an account, right? Is that the reason when password? Right? That way we're securing our API. We're securing our API with the username and password. What would we get? An API. We get an API. We don't want anybody to access that API without providing any credentials. Everybody can see. If I have you, like you're able to access your application. Right? That is not good. We need to provide some kind of basic security to your application. We just provided username and password security to application. When I want to access that application, I need to pass you in password. Then only I get results. But they can see it, right? They can see the API. If you want to see what you can do, you need to publish the exchange. We need to publish to public. This is the API you don't apply. This one you need to share to public. Share to public. And only anybody can see this API. It is not public. Only you and this platform users only can able to see the API. Then if someone figure out the URL, they still need to authenticate. Got it. I don't know. It's supposed to take that much time. There's no errors in the logs. It's taking more than 1 second. Your application has failed with exception. You see an exception at the bottom. Your application failed with exception. Connected to response. Got Good. What we can do is one moment, please. What we can do is one here. Why did it prime in section? We can pick our properties. Here you can use some properties. I think the other day I showed you, some properties. Do you use this property anytime in your application while deploying? Let me see. Let's put some properties. We need to go to our access management. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.